Alright, in this video I illustrate how we're going to solve Chapter 8's homework. Okay, question 1. Basically, we're going to calculate and the cost of end inventory and cost of goods sold for this company under the perpetual and periodic inventory system. Okay, and using FIFO, LIFO, and average cost method. Alright, so the first question, we're going to have April the 30th, the cost of goods sold. Okay, so we're going to get cost of goods sold, but at the same time we should get the end inventory at the same time. Okay, assume we have periodic inventory system. If we're using periodic, okay, we're going to start with the ending inventory. Start with ending inventory. Right? So what is my end inventory by the end of April? So let's see how do we get that. So we have purchase, 4 purchases. Okay, this is a quantity, and it should be able to tell that the total purchase, if you add these two together, the total purchase in this case, right, 1,020 units. And let's check the sale, total sale. If you add all these quantity together, the total sale, right, 790 units. Therefore, we should have $230 units left, but we care about the cost, right? We care about the cost. So let's find out the cost for these units. So first, under the FIFO, first in, first out. Okay, FIFO, what is the cost for these 230 units? Remember, under FIFO, which cost goes first to cost of goods sold? Right? Old cost goes to cost of goods sold. Therefore, newer cost will stay. Therefore, for these 230 units, we have all newer costs, starting with the newest one. So which one is the newest? Right? The 210 with 740 is the newest one. So, followed by the $7.30. Okay. Therefore, the cost for the end inventory is 210 units plus $7.40 plus still should have 20 units from the $7.30 purchase. Okay. Therefore, it's going to give us the, if you add them together, my end inventory equals right, 1,700. Then cost of goods sold equals what? Cost of goods sold equals goods available for sale minus end inventory, right? And the goods available for sale is the total, right? The total goods I purchased. So you're going to calculate goods available for sale from these data. All right. Then periodic, the last in, first out will be just opposite. So only the all this cost will stay. Let's see what is all this cost. right? $7, right? With 110 units. And followed by, that's not enough, right? So we have 120 units from the second oldest one purchase, which is $7.20. Therefore, I'm gonna get an inventory for LIFO assumption. And it should get cost goods sold easily, right? All right. And finally, the average cost under perpetual is very straightforward. So we're going to calculate what is average per unit cost with goods available for sale divided by the total units I have purchased. And if you do that, the total units we have purchased, we got that number already, right? That's 1,020, and these are the total goods available for sale divided by 120. So it's not difficult to see the average per unit cost. Average per unit cost is going to be $7.25. Okay. Then the an inventory, we have 230 units left, right? Then the cost of goods sold, you're gonna get from the difference between goods available for sale and an inventory. All right. So next we have the perpetual inventory system. First thing first, start perpetual. So I'm not going to solve the whole problems, but I'm going to just start a little bit. Under the perpetual, we're going to get, because at any time point, we need to get the cost of an inventory and cost of goods sold. So we have to follow the transaction by transaction approach to get final answer for the end inventory. So we start from April the 1st. April the 1st, we purchased 110 units, right? And we know that it's $7. So by the end of April the 1st, we should have 110 units, and the average, not average, I should say that the cost of my inventory by the end of April 1st will be $7 per unit. Okay. Then April the 4th, we have the second purchase. By the end of April 4th, we should have two costs available for my inventory. We have $7. We also have the $7.20. Okay. Now comes April the 5th. We sold 290 units. Sold 290 units. Then you can apply the FIFO assumptions, right? Which cost goes to cost of goods sold. These are the costs of the goods sold. So we need to determine the cost, and these costs must be under FIFO, whichever came first, right? Should be old cost. Old cost should goes to cost of goods sold. So which one is old, right? Compare these two. The $7 is older, right? So we're gonna determine the cost of goods sold for this sale. That's 110 units multiplied by $7, but that's not enough. We should have another 180, right, units. The cost will be 720. Therefore, we can determine the cost of goods sold for these sales. Then we're going to determine the remaining in inventory. Right? The $7 cost is totally gone. So what's left is going to be 130, right? no, 140, sold 140. So what's left? $180, that's 240, 240, yes. 240 units, 240 units left, $7.20. Then we're gonna move on to the next will be April the 11th. We had another purchase, 280 units at $7.30. So we can update our inventory. We have 240 at $7.20, and then 280 units, $7.30. So we're gonna move on until we solve the final April the 30 inventory. Okay, and the lasting first out will be very similar. We're gonna talk about these two will be the exact same. April 1st and April the 4th will be the same, but April the 5th, when we determine the 290 units cost of sold, we're going to apply the newer cost to cost of sold, right? So the newer cost will be $7.20. So therefore, the cost of sold for April the 5th under LIFO will be 20 units multiplied by $7.20. And we're going to update the ending inventory. The old cost typically is always going to stay under LIFO. Okay, then we have 130 at 720, and we're going to move on to until we solve the whole problems. And under the average cost, under the perpetual inventory system, April the 1st will be the same. That's we have 110 at $7, right? But when we talk about April the 4th, remember we checked inventory. We have two costs. Now it's time to calculate the average cost. Average cost. We call this moving average. So we should have 530 units, and let's get the average cost, $7.16 per unit. This is a moving average cost, okay? And we're going to use this moving average when we sold 250 on April the 5th. We're going to apply the moving average cost. Then on April the 11th, when we purchase new inventories, we need to update, okay? Update this moving average constantly until we reach the end of the month. All right. So this is the first problem. Now let's briefly talk about the second problem. We're not going to solve the whole questions, just to start a little bit. The second problem, it's about finding the dollar value LIFO. The idea of having dollar value LIFO is to build layers. So if we have inventory increase, we build new layers. And if we reduce inventory, we're going to erode or consume old layers. Okay, consume old layers. But which layer we're going to consume first? And because this is a LIFO accountings, so we're going to consume when we sell, we're going to consume the newest layers. Okay, so let's start a little bit. Okay, 2019 we have, it's a beginning year, we have 120,000 under FIFO end inventory, price index is 1. Because this is the first year, the LIFO accounting will be the same, right? Will be the same. There's no adjustment. There's no adjustment. And this becomes our first layer, or the bottom layer, or the oldest layer, price index 1. And this layer, we're going to have 180,000. And value LIFO will be 128, and there's no reserve. This reserve adjust records the difference between the LIFO and the FIFO value. Now it's 2020. Okay, 2020 our FIFO inventory is 212,000. Price index 104. Just by looking at these two, we are not certain whether inventory has increased. Look like it has increased, but may not to be true. That we're gonna check. Okay, so we're gonna adjust the 212,000 by the price index. Then these two inventory numbers, they are measured at the same price. Divided by 104, and this is going to give us $203,846. These are the 2020 and the inventory measured at 2019 price index. Right? Obviously inventory increased just by looking at these two numbers. So we should have two layers. We have the bottom layer is still there, but for 2020 we're going to build a new layer, which is the difference between these two. Alright, so the new layer for 2020, $75,846. But remember, this is still measured at 2019 price index, so we're going to adjust the price index back to 2020 value. The bottom layer is still price index is 1. So after we make the adjustment, we're going to get the LIFO value for 2020. Okay, so the LIFO inventory value for 2020 is 206,880. Then the FIFO inventory value is $212,000. Therefore, the difference between these two becomes a FIFO, or not FIFO reserve. This is LIFO reserve. Okay, this should be LIFO reserve. Therefore, the LIFO reserve equals okay, 5,120. Right, and we're gonna move on to solve other questions. Okay, maybe you're gonna work one more year to show you what's going on. For 2021, we have we're going to divide it by its price index. Right? If you look at these two, compare 2021 to 2020, inventory decreased. Right? Inventory decreased. When inventory decreased, there's no layer for 2021. But we're going to consume old layers. Which layer we're going to consume first, or we're going to sell first, right? Obviously this one, right? Under the LIFO, we're going to consume the new layer. So we're going to reduce this number by the difference between these two, and the oldest layers still there. And after we consume the 2020 layer, what's left will be 73,611. Then we're going to multiply by the original price index. We're going to get 2021 LIFO value. Then the LIFO reserve, by taking the difference between these two, we're going to have 17,000 Okay. All right. So this is all we have for chapter 8. It takes a while to solve these problems, but just start early.